She was born into unimaginable wealth, surrounded by luxury, private doctors, and everything money could buy. Yet she hadn't spoken a single word in years. The millionaire's daughter lived in a silent world, her voice stolen by a moment so traumatic it locked her words deep inside her chest. Her father spent millions searching for a cure, flying across countries, begging experts, but every door closed in disappointment. Then, one ordinary day, far away from mansions and fame, a poor mechanic with grease-stained hands entered her life by accident. He didn't have money, power, or medical knowledge, but what he did next would awaken something no doctor ever could. And when the girl finally spoke again, the reason behind her first word left everyone in tears. Silence had ruled her life for so long that even the walls of the mansion seemed to whisper in pity, as if they knew a truth too heavy to speak aloud. The girl stood by the wide glass window on the third floor, watching rain slide down like quiet tears, her small hands pressed against the cold surface, her lips moving slightly but producing no sound. She was the mute daughter of one of the richest men in the city, surrounded by wealth, guarded by security, and wrapped in luxury that could buy almost anything in the world, except the one thing her heart ached for every single day, her voice. In that moment, when thunder cracked the sky and the lights flickered, no one inside that grand mansion realized that far away, in a dusty roadside garage, a poor mechanic's fate was slowly aligning with hers in a way that would change everything forever. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that miracles don't always come from wealth, but from unexpected hearts. Her name was Elena, and she had not spoken a word since the age of 6. Doctors called it trauma-induced muteness, a condition born not from a broken throat, but from a shattered moment in time. Years ago, she had witnessed something no child should ever see, a night filled with chaos, fear, and helplessness that locked her voice deep inside her chest like a bird trapped in a cage. Her father, Raymond Hale, rose from poverty to become a self-made millionaire, a man respected and feared in boardrooms, yet completely powerless in front of his own daughter's silence. He had spent fortunes on the best specialists, therapists, and private hospitals across continents, but every attempt ended the same way, with medical reports, gentle head shakes, and the unspoken truth that money had reached its limit. Elena grew up learning how to communicate without words. Her eyes carried stories, her drawings screamed emotions, and her presence filled rooms with an ache that made even strangers feel uneasy. Servants walked softly around her, tutors spoke gently, and her father watched from a distance, torn between guilt and desperation. He blamed himself for the night she lost her voice, for choosing work over time, ambition over presence. Every success he celebrated in public felt hollow in private, because at home, silence always won. Meanwhile, across town, where skyscrapers faded into rusted signs and broken roads, lived Adam, a poor mechanic with oil-stained hands and a heart far bigger than his small garage. Life had never been generous to him. His parents passed early, leaving him to raise himself with discipline, honesty, and an unshakable belief that people were worth more than money. His garage barely paid the bills, but he treated every car as if it were his own, and every customer as if they mattered. There was something calm about him, something steady, as if life had tried to break him many times and failed. The first time their worlds brushed against each other happened on a day that felt ordinary to everyone else. Raymond's luxury car broke down unexpectedly on a forgotten road while heading back from a tense business meeting. His driver tried everything, but the engine refused to cooperate. With deadlines looming and patience thinning, they had no choice but to pull into the nearest garage, Adam's garage. Raymond stepped out, irritated, impatient, his mind racing with losses and time. He barely noticed the mechanic at first, until Adam approached calmly, without fear or awe, simply doing his job. As Adam worked under the hood, Elena sat quietly in the back seat, watching him through the window. There was something about the way he moved, unhurried and focused, that drew her attention. Unlike the doctors who watched her with expectation, or the servants who pitied her, Adam didn't look at her at all, not at first, and strangely, that made her feel seen in a way she hadn't felt in years. When the car was fixed, Raymond paid without looking twice, ready to leave, but something unexpected happened. Elena stepped out of the car and walked slowly toward the garage, her eyes fixed on a small broken music box sitting on a dusty shelf. Adam noticed her then, not with curiosity, but with respect. He handed her the music box after fixing its jammed spring, letting it play softly in the air. Elena closed her eyes, and for the first time in years, something inside her chest stirred. Raymond watched this exchange from a distance, uneasy but intrigued. That night, Elena refused to eat, refused to sleep, and refused to let go of the music box. Something had shifted, something small but undeniable. Raymond, desperate and tired of dead ends, made a decision that shocked everyone around him. He asked Adam to come to the mansion, not as a mechanic, not as a servant, but simply as someone who had unknowingly touched her daughter's world. Adam hesitated. He didn't belong in places like that, but something about the girl's eyes haunted him, something unfinished. And so, with humility and uncertainty, he agreed. What no one realized then was that this decision, made out of desperation and curiosity, was the first crack in the wall that had trapped Elena's voice for so many years.
Adam's first day at the mansion felt unreal, like stepping into a life that was never meant for him. The gates were tall, the halls endless, and the silence inside heavier than the noise of the city. Elena watched him from a distance at first, cautious but curious. Unlike everyone else, Adam didn't try to fix her, didn't pressure her, didn't wait for her to speak. He simply treated her like a person, not a problem. He repaired small things around the house, taught her how machines worked using gestures and drawings, and slowly, without realizing it, gave her something she hadn't had in years: control. Days turned into weeks, and a fragile bond formed. Elena began to laugh silently, her shoulders shaking, her eyes glowing. Adam noticed how she flinched at sudden noises, how she avoided mirrors, how her hands trembled when memories tried to resurface. Instead of pushing her forward, he let her lead. They spent time fixing old radios, broken toys, and forgotten objects, each repair feeling like a metaphor neither of them spoke about. Raymond watched all this with conflicted emotions. Part of him felt hope blooming, while another part felt threatened. Adam was everything money couldn't buy: patience, sincerity, presence. Doctors returned, therapists observed, and reports slowly changed tone. Elena was improving emotionally, they said. Her walls were thinning, but the voice still didn't come. Then, one evening, everything nearly shattered again. A loud argument erupted between Raymond and his business partners in the mansion. Raised voices, slammed doors, and the echo of anger filled the halls. Elena froze. Her breathing quickened, her hands clutched her chest, and memories surged back violently. She collapsed, trembling, trapped in the same nightmare that had stolen her voice years ago. Adam found her moments later. He didn't shout for help immediately. He knelt beside her, grounding her, reminding her through calm presence that she was safe. Slowly, her breathing steadied, and then something incredible happened. A sound escaped her lips. Not a word, not a sentence, but a broken, trembling cry. A sound of pain, fear, and release all at once. Everyone froze. It wasn't clear, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. Doctors later called it a breakthrough. Raymond broke down in private, overwhelmed by guilt and gratitude. For the first time, hope felt real, not purchased, not forced, but earned through patience and trust. Yet, as often happens when worlds collide, reality struck back. Rumors spread. People whispered that Adam was using Elena, that he was manipulating emotions for money. Raymond, pressured by his circle, began to doubt. Fear of losing control crept in. One night, he asked Adam to leave, offering him money more than he had ever seen in his life. Adam refused the money, but he left. Elena watched him walk away from the gate, confusion and heartbreak flooding her face. That night, the mansion fell silent again, heavier than before.
Days passed, and Elena retreated inward. Progress slowed. Therapists noticed withdrawal. Raymond realized his mistake too late. He had let fear and pride sabotage the one thing that truly helped his daughter heal. Swallowing his ego, he went looking for Adam, not as a millionaire, but as a father. He found him in the same small garage, hands dirty, life unchanged. Raymond apologized, openly, honestly, without power or pride. Adam listened quietly. He didn't demand anything. He only asked one question through his eyes, whether Elena needed him. She did. Adam returned, not as an employee, but as a constant. Slowly, Elena rebuilt her courage. One afternoon, while fixing the old music box together, the spring snapped loudly. Elena flinched, then froze. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. Adam stayed still, grounding the moment. And then, for the first time in years, Elena spoke. Not loudly, not perfectly, but clearly enough to change everything. One word, his name. The sound echoed through the room like a miracle. Tears followed, not just from Elena, but from everyone who heard. Doctors confirmed it later. Her voice was back, fragile but alive. The cage had opened. Raymond understood then that wealth could create comfort, but only humanity could create healing. He didn't reward Adam with money or status. Instead, he offered him something greater: trust, respect, and a place in their lives. Elena continued to speak slowly over time, each word a victory. Her laughter filled the mansion again, no longer silent. And Adam, the poor mechanic who never tried to fix her voice, but simply her world, became the reason a miracle happened. If this story touched your heart, moved your emotions, or reminded you that kindness can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps stories like this reach more hearts. And before this story ends, we have one special request for you. Comment below with the word hope if you believe that even broken voices can be healed by genuine care. Because sometimes the loudest miracles begin in silence.